If you have applied for a corporate job in the last 30 days and you were met with absolute silence, you are likely telling yourself a comfortable lie. You think the recruiter is just busy. You think your resume got lost in the shuffle. You're entirely wrong. Companies are not ignoring you because they are busy, they are ghosting you because their internal algorithms have detected an impending macroeconomic freeze. And your resume is actively being used as a free data to train their internal large language models. Worse than that, by allowing your application to sit in that silent portal, you are triggering a systematic reputation decay. The cross-platform algorithms are flagging you as a distressed, low-value asset. Before I give you the exact, highly technical engineering blueprint to deploy OpenClaw to detect zombie listings, withdraw your data, and protect your professional leverage during a recession, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor market using cold, hard logic. You do not want to miss these architectures. We are operating in the brutal realities of the 2026 labor market contraction. Ghosting is no longer bad manners, it is calculated corporate mechanism. Today, we are going to dismantle the AI ghosting detectors, read the hidden API signals of mass layoffs, and transition your career strategy into a high-frequency trading portfolio. Grab a notebook, it is time to stop waiting for an email that is never coming and start weaponizing the metadata. Welcome back, I'm Dr. Ed. To understand why my approach to the global labor market is aggressively different from the generic career coaches telling you just follow up with the hiring managers, you must understand my underlying architecture. I hold a PhD in Human Resources, a master's from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences (TISS) in Mumbai, and a bachelor's in Computer Engineering. I do not look at recruitment as a human interaction. I look at it as a high-volume data exchange mediated by ruthless algorithms. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for apex corporate entities and global capability centers, the GCCs, I have seen the exact backend dashboards that applicant tracking system ATS used to categorize you. When a recession hits, companies do not immediately announce it. They execute a silent freeze. They leave their job listing active to manipulate their stock prices and project growth while systematically ghosting 100% of the applicant. If you do not know how to read the hidden signals of this fiscal freeze, you will burn your cognitive bandwidth, applying to black holes, destroying your algorithmic reputation in the process. Let us dismantle the ghosting matrix. Phase 1, the hidden cost of silent rejection. We must first diagnose the exact mechanical nature of the 2026 recruitment algorithms and the hidden cost of the silent rejection. You must understand the concept of reputation decay. In the modern HR ecosystem, enterprise platforms like Workday, Greenhouse, and Taleo do not operate in an isolated silos. They share encrypted cross-platform metadata regarding applicant velocity and interaction rates. When you apply for 50 jobs across these platforms and you receive 0 interview requests, the macro algorithms register a pattern. It calculates your market clearance rate. The algorithm sees that you have submitted your data payload 50 times and the market has rejected or ignored it 50 times, it automatically flags your profile. It assumes that because the broader market has deemed you a low priority asset. When you apply for your 51st job, the ATS instantaneously pushes your profile to the bottom of the stack. Your desperation is mathematically visible to the machine. The macroeconomic buffer. Why is the ghosting rate suddenly spiking in 2026? Because ghosting is a preliminary buffer for upcoming hiring freezes and market contraction. When the CFO of a Tier 1 tech firm in Dubai sees a massive drop in Q2 revenue, they do not immediately fire the HR department, they issue a shadow mandate. Freeze all hiring but keep the job posting active so our competitor and shareholder do not know we are bleeding. The recruiters are legally forbidden from telling you the role is closed, so they simply stop responding. Your application is sitting in a holding pen, decaying your algorithmic reputation. While the company uses your resume to build a free data set of current market compensation expectations, you are being farmed for data. Phase 2. Deploying OpenClaw for recruitment intelligence. To survive this, you cannot rely on the front-end graphical user interface of LinkedIn or a corporate career page. A web page says urgently hiring is often a complete lie. You must look at the backend. You must deploy OpenClaw or any equivalent 2026 metadata scraping framework to extract real-time intelligence directly from the job board's API. Hunting the zombie listings. A zombie listing is a job posting that appears fully active to the public but is completely dead in the backend database. When you run an OpenClaw Python script against a target company's ATS, you are looking at the job description, you are extracting the JSON payload to look for hidden API status changes. You are looking for the two specific data points. 1. The last modified timestamp. The front end might say the job was posted 2 days ago, but when you pull the JSON data, the last modified field reveals that the internal parameter of the job haven't been touched by a human recruiter in 74 days. The system is just auto-refreshing the front-end date to keep the SEO ranking high. 2. The rec status. When the public status says open, the hidden internal metadata might classify the rec status as suspended, pipeline building, or pending budget approvals. Automated triggers. You do not have the cognitive bandwidth to check this manually. You must set up an automated trigger. You program your OpenClaw dashboard to track a company's interaction to listing ratios. If a company has 200 open job listings, but the API reveals that 0 candidate has been moved from applied column to the interview stage 1 column in the last 14 days, the ratio has dropped to 0. The trigger alerts you instantly that this company is a ghost ship. Do not deploy your data payload, which is in fact your CV. Phase 3. Decoding the signal of the fiscal freeze. Once you have the API data, you must become a macroeconomic analyst. You must interpret the correlation between high ghosting rates in a specific sectors and impending departmental budget cuts. This is a massive difference between standard recruiter lag and a systematic algorithmic recruiter lag. This happens when a company is genuinely growing too fast. The API will show that out of 1,000 applicants, 50 has been moved to the interview stage, but the remaining 950 are sitting idle. This means the company is hiring, but the human HR team is simply overwhelmed by the data volume. Algorithmic distancing, the systematic freeze. This is what you must watch out for. This happens when the API shows that out of 1,000 applicants, 0 has been moved to the interview stage for 30 consecutive days across an entire department. Example, the entire marketing division. When you see algorithmic distancing in the data, you're looking at the future, visualizing the mass layoff. Mass layoff does not happen overnight. They are preceded by a 60 to 90 day shadow freeze. If your OpenClaw dashboard shows that 3 massive supply chain logistic firms in Dubai have simultaneously frozen their rec status to suspended while keeping their public listing active, you have just predicted a sector-wide contraction. You can literally see the freeze before the CEO officially announces the layoff on Bloomberg. You're no longer a reactive job seeker, you hold asymmetric market intelligence. Phase 4. Automated detection and professional pivot. Intelligence is useless without execution. Once you detect the freeze, you must protect your professional leverage. Categorizing risk bucket. You must implement automated detection scripts to monitor the applications you have already submitted. Your script must categorize unresponsive applications into low-yield risk bucket. If an application has sat in a company's portal for 14 days, the OpenClaw tracker shows 0 backend movement for that requisition. It enters the red zone. The withdrawal strategy. This is the hardest psychological pivot for the professionals to make, but it is mathematically necessary. When a role enters the red zone, you do not send a desperate follow-up email. You withdraw the application, you log into the portal, and you actively click withdraw. The engineering logic. Why do we do this? First, it protects your data privacy. You do not leave your intellectual capital sitting in a dead server to be scrapped by their internal LLMs. Second, it stops your reputation decay. By withdrawing, you force the cross-platform algorithm to register that you rejected the market, not the market rejected you. You maintain the posture of a high-value, scarce asset who does not tolerate inefficiency. Redirecting to recession-proof cluster. You take the cognitive energy you saved by not obsessing over dead jobs and you redirect it. You look at your OpenClaw dashboard and you search for positive engagement metadata. Which company have high velocity of moving candidate from applied to interview? In a recession, these are usually distressed asset management firms, restructuring consultancies, automation integrators, and strict B2B compliance sectors. You pivot your entire portfolio towards a cluster that data proves are actually spending capital. Phase 5. Securing future leverage in volatile markets. We now arrive at the apex strategy. You must build a proactive defense system that stops treating your career like a romantic pursuit and start treating it like a high-frequency trading (HFT) portfolio. In high-frequency trading, algorithms do not hold onto dead stocks hoping they will magically recover. They cut their losses in milliseconds and route their capital to active momentum. Your resume is your capital. Weaponizing ghosting data in a negotiation. When you do find a company that is actively hiring during a recession, a company with positive API metadata, you must use your macro knowledge to dominate the negotiation. You do not act grateful just to get an interview. You sit across the hiring manager and you deploy the Socratic leverage, the execution. I have been analyzing the back-end hiring velocity of this sector. I know that your 3 biggest competitors have quietly frozen their acquisition and suspended their pipeline for the last 45 days. You are the one of the only firm aggressively acquiring talent right now, which tells me you're executing a massive operational pivot to capture their market share. I'm exactly the architect you need to execute the pivot, but my compensation must reflect the scarcity of the apex operator willing to move during a sector contraction. You just flip the power dynamics. You prove that you understand their strategic reality better than their own internal HR team. Maintaining a high authority digital footprint. Your final step in a volatile market is to fortify your internal architecture. If the internal ATS systems are corrupted by zombie listings and reputation decay, you must force the executive to find you externally. Publish open source data. Release structural teardown of the market contraction you are detecting. Prove your cognitive dominance on LinkedIn or specialized industry forum. When you possess a high-authority digital footprint, you bypass the ghosting algorithms entirely. The desperate candidates are trapped in automated loops submitting PDFs into a dead portal. But the apex operator is headhunted directly by the CEO because their public proof of work is undeniable. Look closely at the mechanics of the machine that is judging you. When you apply for a job and receive a silence, do not internalize it. Do not let it destroy your confidence. It is not a reflection of your biological worth. It is a mechanical output of a system designed to protect corporate cash flow. You are an engineer of your own career. Stop throwing your resume into black holes. Deploy the scraping frameworks. Identify the zombie listings. Ruthlessly withdraw your application from ghost ships to protect your algorithmic reputation. Transition your focus to the data-fied active clusters and treat your professional trajectory like a high-frequency trading portfolio. It is. The companies are using algorithms to filter you out. You must use algorithms to hunt them down. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top.